These are the Wandering Therapist sessions. I am Tyler Patrick, your Wandering Therapist, and I'm here to provide you with hope, healing, and helpful insights in your journey for a wholehearted life. What is going on, you guys? Welcome to the Wandering Therapist. I am Tyler Patrick, your Wandering Therapist. Excited to have you with me today. I am out on a fresh after a rainstorm in the mornings right up here in the mountains. I hope you can see behind me how beautiful it is. It's such a great way to get out and get some fresh air and clear my mind and hopefully bring to you something to think about and ponder on for your own day. I wanted to share a couple of things with you today that are based on a couple of skills that I use in therapy with my people all of the time. And these skills are things that I talk about frequently, but they hit me a little bit differently over the last couple of days with everything that's going on with our country. And the two skills that I want to talk about with you today, the first one is the skill of being non-judgmental, and the second skill is the skill of being willing to look at things and to maybe embrace things that might have been uncomfortable in the past. And with everything that's happened with the things that happened with George Floyd over the last couple of weeks and with the protests going on, it's given me an opportunity to reflect on my own life in a different way than I ever have before. And mind you, this is a topic that has been pushed through me for all of my education, through all of my graduate school, the topic of privilege and power. And there's been a couple of things that I think have been in my way that are starting to change with what's happening in our country right now. And I just want to share with you some of the changes that are happening with me. Not that they have to happen with you, not that you have to see everything the same way that I do, but it's the skills of willingness and non-judgment that I want to talk about in the context of this. So I am obviously a middle-class white male, and I've always been a middle-class white male, and as a result, I have never really had the opportunity or the need or the desire to have to contemplate what that really means in the context of the bigger scheme of things in the world and in the country that we live in. I grew up with my own struggles, grew up with my own challenges. That's where I've been focused. And I think all of us do that. We end up sort of focused on our lives because by nature, all of us are pretty self-centered from time to time because we have to be, because we try to navigate our world. And so when things come into question, I remember going to graduate school and the topic of privilege and power was a frequent topic. And there were a couple of things that I think got in the way. The first one was that I was so entrenched in the way that I had been raised and that was just the way things were, that I never really needed to question whether or not I should look at these things. And so I was, in some ways, I've been ignorant to my own privilege. And then when the topic would come up in graduate school, probably because of where I was coming from, there was some judgment that I didn't see myself as racist. I didn't see myself as powerful. I saw myself as a normal guy trying to get through the world. And so there would be this internal pushback to not look at the factors that were being talked about in graduate school. And so I'd push back on that, or I'd dismiss it, or I'd stay in ignorance and go home and say, yeah, well, some people feel that way, but obviously that's not my experience, and I don't consider myself to be racist or to be chauvinistic or whatever it is that we were talking about in power. And I almost felt attacked. I felt like I was being attacked for something that I wasn't at the time. And I don't think that's what this is about. What I'm starting to realize now, that this wasn't about me having to be bad or me having to be the villain. This was simply a dialogue about some facts that were happening and that have been happening for a really long time, that if I could get out of my own way, if I could stop living from this place of either ignorance or self-protection by being judgmental, that I might be able to see the world a little bit differently. And that's what started to happen for me now, is to realize that, you know what, the fact that I'm standing up here in this mountain with all of this beautiful scenery around me puts me in a position of privilege over the vast majority of our country. And if I don't at least have the ability to be curious with that about what effects that has on my life and in the lives of other people, then I'm missing an opportunity for deeper understanding and deeper connection with my brothers and my sisters who might be in different situations. And if I want to be sensitive, if I want to be connected, if I want to stay humble,
I owe it to myself and to my brothers and sisters to lower my pride and to step in with curiosity, seeking not for who's right or wrong, but for understanding. For a way to really get into somebody else's shoes and say, wow, I've never seen it from that perspective before. And when we do that, it doesn't vilify us. It allows us to see the world in a broader picture with more vibrance and more color. And it gives us a chance to make different choices than we otherwise would. That leads to the second skill of willingness, which is then to say, if I find something that I was blind to before, it's like the lyrics from Amazing Grace. I love that lyric in Amazing Grace when he said, I once was lost, but now I am found. I'm blind, but now I see. When we finally start to see things differently, we often are going to be met with an impression of something to do. And it's on us to be willing to make the changes, to do the things that we have impressed upon our hearts when we find something new or when we have a new awareness from our curiosity come to mind. So it doesn't have to be about this specific thing that's going on in our country right now, you guys, but most of us are probably living right now in a place of blindness, and we don't even know we're living in a place of blindness. And one of the ways that we can take that barrier off of our eyes, we can shed that skin, is we can start to ask questions with curiosity to the people around us. Really seek to get into their shoes and understand what the world looks like from their perspective. And it doesn't have to be that we're different, therefore we're bad or they're bad. It just means that we're different and we need to understand these things and we need to work towards the values that matter the most to us in our lives. So something to ponder on today, you guys. I would love to hear what your new insights are as we're in this climate today, or what the things are that you struggle with. And thank you for being with us. Hopefully these things are beneficial for you. Please give us some feedback. If you have questions specifically that you want to ask, make sure you ask and we'll be glad to get to them. You guys have a great day.
Thank you so much for being here with me. If you found this to be valuable for you, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you're facing particular struggles that you need help with or roadblocks that you're running into, please submit a question. I'd be happy to answer it for you.